welcome back to UE5 BP Guru. So today we are now finally at a point where we're going to start adding some moves in. So let's show you what I've got so far. We've obviously already got our creature at this point, but if we go into the tall grass, we obviously have all our battle set up as we had it before. We can still open up inventory, but we can now click attack and it will close inventory but open and show the available attacks we have. At the moment they obviously do nothing, but if we run away and close this down, we can open up what we've done at this point. So to get our list of usable moves, or TMs, whatever you want to call them, we need to set up a few things. And this is the setup episode. I'll show you where I've got everything at this point, and then we will show you the code to get it to where I've got it to in the next episode. So I have this TM move struct, which is all the information about the usable move. For example, we have move name, we have the description, we have the typing, we have move accuracy and the power of it. We have a PP max. Now the reason we don't have a PP current is because we don't need to hold that in the actual information of the move. We need to hold that on our creature. We have a debuff or buff kind of value, which is a name and a float. We have then 3 booleans, whether it affects the self, if it's physical, or if it's a status move. If it's none of these, it is a special move. So there should be 4 different attacks. So self is like a debuff, so that should technically go. So that's if you want to put your attack or your defense up. Physical is if it's like a normal attack. Status is if you're inflicting like burn, freeze, or any of that sort of stuff on them as well. So let's close that down. There's probably some other stuff I'm missing from that list, by the way. I'm still tweaking things, but I just want to start getting us attacking and doing some damage and things like that. So we go into our move slot. So this is what goes onto the player, or the creature, should I say. It's a name, move PP, move max PP, and we're checking if it's set. That'll come in handy down the line. Then we want to create a data table using our TM move struct. So if you open this up, this is what it should look like. And you can see I've set up 4 moves at the moment: tackle, scratch, growl, and tail whip. And we've got move type, we've got the move accuracy, power, PP max, debuffs. And debuffs is literally just if I open it up, I've given these defaults. So attack, defense, SP, special defense, speed, etc. So if I go into like growl, for example, this should, now it hasn't saved. Oh, it has on for tail whip. So tail whip always knocks defense, so it's going to multiply it by 1.1. Actually, I think that should be the other way around. It should be less. So it reduces defense by 0.9. If you want to increase something, you increase it by 1.1, but decrease by 0.9. So growl, again, that lowers attack, so that should be 0.9. And that's what you do with that. Then you also have self, physical now, or status. So, for example, it's none of these, so it must be a debuff move. No, that's not true. I think it would come under status for this, I think. Yeah. Scratch is a physical attack. Tackle is also a physical attack. But if you had Ember, that would be a special attack, so it would be none of these. Okay, I might even just add a special boolean in there just so I can properly define what it is. But and you can just run a sequence to check which one's which. Okay. So yeah, and sorry, let me reopen that. But yeah, so you would just have a whole list. So every single move you have in the game, you would have running down here, and you would just we'll just check for the row name and get that move's information later on. Go away, please. There you go. Then we need to check for our base stat information. So in here we have every single ringmon we will ever create, and we have all of its base stat information. But if we look here, if I go back to where is it, base stat? Oh my god, why did I did that twice today? Where's base stat struct? Base stat struct. We have this level up move set, which is a name and integer map. That way, when we come into here, now I'm not going to create it in here, you can literally click one, and you can design your move set list. We'd do that in here. So if I click on her badger, for example, I have Scratch and Growl. Now, they both learn those at level 0. They'll always have them. But if I create another one, and I go, let's call it Vine Slash, which is one of the names I was going to use, Vine Slash. We could say you learn that at level 13. That's when I want to learn it. 13. And it doesn't have to be in order. It probably helps for your own sort of design to keep it in order. But let's do it in order actually. I had root sap, which was going to be learned at level 7. Then we had another move, because it doesn't matter what typings the move are, because that's all going to be held in the other file. We have Vine Slash, which was next. That's going to be level 13. Oh, I keep clicking off it. Oops. And then you get the idea. So you would just keep adding them and adding them. Tail Flame, I could add in Fireball at level 9. I don't think he learns anything else before then. Some of these moves I haven't changed, by the way. Some of them are just some Pokemon moves. I will change the names to something different. But it's very hard when you want to move like Tail Whip, and you can't change, like, what do you call that? You know, what do you theoretically call that? Stare is level 15, right? And then if we go to Oster will gain. Oh, I can only add one at a time. I mean, some you could probably get away with, like Bubble. What would you theoretically call Bubble, right? I mean, I suppose if the moves are slightly different in the animation, it's not so big. And there we go. Right. Okay. And we can save that. And that will just add to the pool of moves that we need to learn. Now, don't forget, this must be set up in your move list. So if you haven't got it in your move list and the name doesn't match this name, it will not pick up on it. So you must make sure to do that. And of course, it goes back down to the name as well. Her badger must be spelt the same as her badger in your creature list. Otherwise it won't find it. Accuracy with naming things and stuff like that is so important, because if you don't have it set up right, it will break. It will just break so easily. I've already had it break on me twice just for changing a few values in the save file. This is a great system and it's working beautifully. But if you tamper with it or you mess something up, it will break like nobody's business. It really will. So you have to be very, very careful. Now that we have that move list, how do we technically set that as our moves for our creature? Well, we do that in our... So let's look at ours first of all. So what we want to do is... we want to go into accept Ringmon. They should say Ringmon, not Pokemon. I'm going to get shut down my Nintendo so fast because they don't want their secrets spilling out, do they? Right, and I'm sure these videos will eventually flag up to them if they get popular enough. So let's go to our event graph. So for selecting our creature, our starter, we've already done a lot of this, but I've changed the has Pokemon to a boolean within the third person character first off. The reason for this is doing it in the game instance, you can't reset it. It's very hard to reset it. It's very annoying. So it's easier to run it through the third person character. He has a Pokemon. We set that once we accept it. Once we've clicked yes, we say yes, he has got a Pokemon, and we will save that into the save files as well down the line. We're getting the creature, we're rolling our IVs, we're rolling our stats, which we've shown in previous episodes, and then we're setting our moves. So obviously we've got the creature info going in and the creature info coming back out again. But if we go into it, this is kind of how we did it. Now I don't need that, that's not necessary, you can get rid of that. That was me messing around. So the creature info comes in, we break it to get the basic info stat of this Pokemon we're accepting. And we just check it against the base stats data file. We're checking against that, we're doing a for each loop, and we're just checking that those names match each other, hence the names being very important. So, what it'll do is, if for example we pick Tailflame, it'll find Tailflame, and it'll get this information. We then do a branch to make sure that's true, and if it is true, we'll get that row name. So just plug that straight in, and it'll get that row name that equals to this. And then we break that information. The next thing we do is we get our move list table row name, and we do a for each loop. And we say, okay, from this set of moves, find that move on this move list. Okay? And if that comes back true, it's got the moves, it will check that our current level here is equal to or less than the move we find. So it should find every move on here that is associated with our Ringmon. So if we have 10 moves, and there's 10 moves on the data table, it will find all 10 of those moves and stick them here. Then it'll check against it whether they equal or they're less than our current level. Okay, and that's coming, I just showed, it's coming from there, current level, from our Ringmon information. Because we've already set it at this point, okay? So because we've set it, we can now find the moves. And then, if that comes back true, it'll add those possible moves. It'll add those moves into a possible moves array, which is just an integer. Now, once that's been added to this array, we can say it's completed. Okay, it'll run for every time until it's completed through every single. Now, it could be a lengthy process if we had 150 moves, but in theory, it should happen instantly, even with 150 lines. Once that's completed, we come down here and we get those keys. This is where it gets a little bit complicated, of course. So we're doing a for each loop for the amount of moves we have on our Ringmon. Now, if you, one of the lads in the Discord, Mr. Meerkat, I've mentioned him before, he has 5 moves on his creatures. So for that reason, he has to do 0 to 4, because 0 is always the first integer that is called. So, for example, I have the traditional 4 moves on my creatures. So I do 0 to 3 for this for loop. We get our possible moves down here. We get the length, and we also get the last index. Off the length, we get is it greater than 0? And if that's true, we can get the data table. We can re-get the data table for the move list, and we can plug that get into it. The next thing we want to do is we want to break that information and get our move strut. With our move strut, we're going to be getting that. We're going to make a move slot structure. But first of all, what we want to do is we want to get our move slots array, and then we want to add something to it. Now, there's one thing I want to show. I think beforehand, before we move on, this may break some of your code, but it should be very easy to fix. But if you come to your creature, where is it? I am looking for, what am I looking for? I've changed all the names to fit what we're doing. Basic info. Ringmon basic info. I've changed the 4 move slots to 1 slot, and that also should probably change to just move slot. Save that. You have move slot struct type, which I've turned into an array, which is literally just this move slot struct. So to do that, if you're getting confused, just drop this down. I'll set up a new one. No, I won't, because it might break it. Click down on it. Search for your move slot struct type. Just search for it and set it. Then if you right click on one of these, I believe it's right click on this or this, it will turn it into an array for you. It will just force it as an array. Okay. Let me know in the comments if you struggle with that or in the Discord. But yeah, you should be able to just search for the move slot structure. It will set that as the move slot structure, so it'll be like having 1 slot. But when you turn it into an array, it becomes like an infinite amount depending on how many you add to it. Then we want to go back into here. So yeah, so you would basically in here do the same sort of thing. Just search for your move slot structure and set that in here. Call it move slots, and then turn it into an array by like right clicking it. Yeah, see, if I right clicked it now and I change the variable now, it would basically tell me off. So let's do move slot 2. This is what it would normally look like with the single thing. But if I right click it, it turns it into an array. If I click it again, it flips it back from an array. That's what I'm talking about when I say turn it into an array. And then we can pull that off and get it here. Pull it off and so drag it in, pull off and get an add node, is what I was trying to say, and plug this directly into it. But from here, pull off and say make. And the reason we do that is because we want to get the name of the move, and we want to get the PP max and set that move PP and move max PP. So by setting those 3, it'll get added into here for every time it gets that integer. But we also need to remove that integer. Now this code came from Mr. Meerkat, so I have to give him a shout out and say thank you for that. But we pull off from that last index, and you can type in remove index and it'll come up, and then you just plug your possible moves array into it. So what that means is that when it's checking for what moves we have, it adds the move in, but because it's going to do it again, we need to remove that index so it also gets something unique from that array. And then once you're done with that, oh gosh, this is what I was meaning by it won't like it. Oh god, it's breaking my code. It's breaking my code. Just changing one thing breaks my code. Oh my god. Compile. So yeah, next thing we do, sorry that confused me then because it broke my code. Off the completed, so once it's done that, it's added every move it can into that add move slots. We pull off, I ran a branch just to check the length of the move slot so I know what's going on, but you could just plug straight into the set member node. In the return nodes, again, that creature info out, you pull off of that and you would say set member in Ringmon basic info. And then on here, you would just click move slot, and we're just taking that move slot, and we're adding into it. That's all we're doing. Literally, that's all we need to do. This whole thing can be deleted. You literally just need this, this, and this. Once that's all done, we'll move on to trying to get this up onto the battle UI. And once it's on the battle UI, we can then work on actually attacking each other. So hopefully this is useful to you, and hopefully it's got you to the same point that I have. If you have any questions at this point, please do feel free to ask me. Now I haven't set this up in the encounters, but I assume it's going to be exactly the same code for the encounters as well. Other than that, don't forget to like, don't forget to leave a little comment, and if you are still watching at this point, don't forget to subscribe. It's free to do, and you can always change your mind down the line. Thanks so much, guys. Take care. Bye.